Unmasking the Deceptive, recognizing the true nature of demons in human form. It's a timeless truth that appearances can be profoundly misleading. We've all encountered individuals who, at first glance, radiate an irresistible charm, effortlessly captivating everyone around them. They possess a remarkable ability to make you feel like the most important person in the room, seemingly embodying the ideal friend or colleague, witty, engaging, and genuinely interested. It's incredibly easy to be swept away by this initial allure, believing you've stumbled upon someone truly exceptional. However, as the Stoics wisely taught, the path to understanding lies in looking beyond the superficial and seeking truth through rational thought and keen observation. With time, subtle inconsistencies often begin to surface, revealing cracks in their carefully constructed facade. These aren't mere quirks, they are significant red flags that warrant your careful attention. A particularly glaring sign of a deceptive individual is a profound lack of empathy. Empathy is the cornerstone of genuine human connection, the capacity to understand and share the feelings of others, offering support and fostering meaningful relationships. Yet some individuals appear utterly devoid of this essential trait. They seem indifferent to how their words or actions affect others, leading to devastating impacts on those around them. The Stoics deeply valued compassion and understanding as fundamental virtues. Marcus Aurelius often spoke of the interconnectedness of humanity and the necessity of considering the well-being of others as part of our own. When confronted with someone who exhibits a blatant disregard for the feelings of others, it should serve as a serious warning. Consider sharing something deeply personal with such an individual, hoping for comfort or understanding. Instead of genuine concern, they might dismiss your feelings, minimize your pain, or even mock your vulnerability. This lack of empathy leaves you feeling isolated and misunderstood. It's not just about their absence in tough times, it's also their inability to share in your joys or celebrate your successes. Such a person won't genuinely cheer for your achievements. They might even subtly undermine them or attempt to take credit for your efforts. This behavior isn't confined to personal relationships. Think of a manager who relentlessly pushes employees to their breaking point, showing no concern for their well-being. They might demand excessive hours without fair compensation, ignore requests for time off, or publicly humiliate staff under the guise of constructive criticism. This creates a toxic environment where individuals feel undervalued and stressed. The Stoics would advise maintaining inner peace and integrity in such situations, recognizing that the lack of empathy in others is a reflection of their character, not yours. Furthermore, a lack of empathy can pave the way for more sinister behaviors. Individuals unable to empathize may engage in cruel actions without guilt or remorse. They might lie, cheat, or even inflict harm without a second thought about the pain they are causing. Seneca, a Stoic philosopher, emphasized the importance of kindness and justice, teaching that our actions should always reflect our inner virtue. When someone lacks empathy, they are fundamentally disconnected from these core values. Even in minor, everyday interactions, a lack of empathy becomes apparent. You might notice someone constantly interrupting conversations to talk about themselves, showing little interest in what others have to say, or failing to offer help when it's clearly needed. These may seem like minor annoyances, but they collectively form a pattern revealing a deeper issue. The Stoics would urge us to be observant and discerning, understanding that these small signs are indicative of a person's true character. If you consistently encounter someone lacking empathy, it's crucial to set boundaries to protect your own mental and emotional health. The Stoics believed in safeguarding our well-being and not allowing the negativity of others to disturb our peace. You have every right to distance yourself from those who drain your energy and bring you down. Another crucial indicator of true character emerges when things don't go their way. A genuinely kind and empathetic person will navigate disappointments and disagreements with grace and understanding. In contrast, someone who is merely playing a role to gain your trust might quickly become angry, defensive, or even manipulative when faced with setbacks. They might lash out, attempt to shift blame, or try to control the situation to regain their perceived authority. Stoic wisdom, echoed by figures like Marcus Aurelius, warns us to be wary of those who display such reactions. Anger and manipulation are not the hallmarks of a rational and virtuous individual. Instead, they signal a deeper flaw in character, revealing an inability to manage their own emotions and desires constructively. It's imperative to take your time and trust your instincts. The Stoics championed the power of observation and emphasized the importance of not rushing to judgment based solely on first impressions. As Epictetus taught, we must carefully evaluate the character of those we permit into our inner circle. One of the most telling characteristics of such individuals is an insatiable need to be the center of attention. They might consistently dominate conversations, frequently interrupt others, or even subtly belittle people in social settings. Imagine being at a lively gathering where this person is the life of the party, entertaining everyone with their jokes and stories. While initially enjoyable to be in their orbit, you'll likely notice that as the evening progresses, every topic inevitably circles back to them. When you attempt to share something personal, they swiftly redirect the conversation to their own experiences. This is precisely where the Stoic principle of apatheia, a state of being undisturbed by external things, becomes invaluable. By maintaining emotional balance, you can dispassionately observe their behavior, seeing past the charming act to recognize the underlying self-centered nature. Their actions aren't about shared connection, they're about maintaining control of the narrative and the spotlight. The Stoics also urge us to be wary of those who display such reactions. Anger and manipulation are not the hallmarks of a rational and virtuous individual. Instead, they signal a deeper flaw in character, revealing an inability to manage their own emotions and desires constructively. It's imperative to take your time and trust your instincts. The Stoics championed the power of observation and emphasized the importance of not rushing to judgment based solely on first impressions. As Epictetus taught, we must carefully evaluate the character of those we permit into our inner circle. One of the most telling characteristics of such individuals is an insatiable need to be the center of attention. They might consistently dominate conversations, frequently interrupt others, or even subtly belittle people in social settings. Imagine being at a lively gathering where this person is the life of the party, entertaining everyone with their jokes and stories. While initially enjoyable to be in their orbit, you'll likely notice that as the evening progresses, every topic inevitably circles back to them. When you attempt to share something personal, they swiftly redirect the conversation to their own experiences. This is precisely where the Stoic principle of apatheia, a state of being undisturbed by external things, becomes invaluable. By maintaining emotional balance, you can dispassionately observe their behavior, seeing past the charming act to recognize the underlying self-centered nature. Their actions aren't about shared connection, they're about maintaining control of the narrative and the spotlight. Another significant characteristic of deceptive individuals is manipulation, the use of cunning tactics and deceit to control or influence others to achieve personal desires. This subtle, often insidious behavior can be incredibly damaging, leaving those on the receiving end feeling confused, powerless, and questioning their own judgment. From a Stoic perspective, which values clarity of thought and the ability to perceive reality accurately, manipulation is a profound distortion. Stoic philosophy teaches that our perceptions should be grounded in reality and that we should remain steadfast in our principles regardless of external pressures. When someone manipulates you, they are actively attempting to cloud your perception and distort reality, making it difficult to adhere to these Stoic ideals. A common form of manipulation is gaslighting, where the manipulator tries to make you doubt your own memory, perception, or sanity. They might deny events ever happened or twist your words and actions to make you feel at fault. For example, if you confront a friend about a hurtful comment, they might deny it, then accuse you of being overly sensitive or misremembering the situation. This can erode your confidence and make you dependent on the manipulator's version of reality. Manipulators are also skilled at playing the victim, using guilt trips to coerce you into doing things you don't want to do by making you feel responsible for their happiness. You might have a friend who constantly complains about their problems, expecting you to drop everything to help them, yet they are never there for you in return. They might utter phrases like, "If you were really my friend, you'd do this for me," creating a sense of obligation. Epictetus emphasized understanding what is within our control and what is not. We can only control our responses, not others' actions or emotions. Consider how a manipulator might use flattery or charm to get their way. Initially, this can feel wonderful. They might shower you with compliments and make you feel special. However, over time, you might notice that their praise comes with strings attached, appearing only when they want something from you. This can make you feel indebted or that you need to live up to their expectations for their continued approval. The Stoics remind us that true virtue and self-worth originate from within, not from the fleeting approval of others. Manipulation can also manifest as isolation. A manipulative person might attempt to sever your connections with friends and family, claiming they are the only one who truly understands or cares about you. They might say, "Your friends don't really care about you," or "Your family doesn't understand you like I do." This tactic makes it easier for them to control you by making you more reliant on them for support and validation. The Stoics believed in fostering strong, supportive relationships, recognizing that we thrive in community. Isolation directly opposes these principles. Financial manipulation is another tactic. They might repeatedly borrow money without repaying it, or control your finances to limit your independence. For instance, a partner might insist on managing all finances, requiring you to ask permission for any spending. This control can make it incredibly difficult to leave the relationship or assert your autonomy. The Stoics encouraged self-sufficiency and wise resource management, viewing financial control as a form of enslavement to be resisted. Recognizing manipulation can be challenging, especially when you care about the person. The Stoics teach us to be vigilant and discerning, seeing things clearly and acting with integrity. If you suspect manipulation, step back and assess the situation objectively. Are they consistently prioritizing their needs over yours? Do they make you feel guilty or unsure of yourself? Are they attempting to control aspects of your life or isolate you? It's vital to set firm boundaries and stand your ground, communicating clearly and assertively what you will and will not tolerate. Remember, you have the right to your own thoughts, feelings, and actions. The Stoics remind us that while we cannot control others' behavior, we can control our response. By maintaining inner strength and clarity, we can protect ourselves from manipulation and remain true to our values. One of the most glaring indicators of a truly deceptive individual is pathological lying. This transcends the occasional white lie. Pathological liars deceive constantly, often without any discernible reason. They fabricate stories, manipulate facts, and distort reality to serve their own needs or gain an advantage. This behavior is incredibly damaging to relationships, eroding trust and creating a complex web of deceit that is almost impossible to untangle. The Stoics valued truth and integrity above all else, believing that a virtuous life was rooted in honesty and that deceit was a fundamental betrayal of one's character. Marcus Aurelius emphasized living in accordance with nature, which means aligning our actions with truth and reason. When someone lies pathologically, they are living in direct opposition to these principles, constructing a false reality that benefits only themselves. Pathological lying can take many forms. It might begin with seemingly harmless fabrications, like embellishing a story to make themselves appear more interesting. Over time, these lies can escalate, covering up mistakes or wrongdoings and manipulating others to achieve their goals. A pathological liar might falsely claim accomplishments, take credit for others' work, or invent elaborate stories about their past to gain sympathy or admiration. This constant dishonesty creates a distorted view of reality where you can never be sure what is true and what is fabricated. Consider how a pathological liar might operate in a workplace.
They might lie about their qualifications, exaggerate their contributions to projects, or spread false rumors about colleagues to sabotage them. This creates a toxic environment where trust is undermined and people are constantly on edge, unsure of whom to believe. The Stoics would advise us to remain steadfast in our own integrity, not allowing ourselves to be swayed by the deceitful actions of others. Epictetus taught that we should focus on what we can control, our own thoughts and actions, and not be disturbed by the dishonesty of those around us. In personal relationships, pathological lying can be even more destructive. Imagine being in a relationship with someone who constantly lies about their whereabouts, their past, or their feelings. This behavior can make you feel insecure, anxious, and constantly questioning your own perceptions. You might find yourself doubting your memory or second-guessing your instincts, which is precisely what the liar desires. They thrive on creating confusion and instability, keeping you off balance so they can maintain control. The Stoics would remind us to trust our own judgment and not be swayed by the manipulations of others. Seneca taught that true peace comes from within and that we should not allow the deceit of others to disturb our inner tranquility. One of the most insidious aspects of pathological lying is its initial difficulty to detect. Pathological liars can be incredibly convincing, delivering their falsehoods with such confidence and detail that it's hard not to believe them. They might expertly blend truth with lies, making it even more challenging to discern reality. This is where the Stoic principle of vigilance comes into play. We must remain observant and critical, not accepting things at face value, but instead seeking the truth through careful consideration and evidence. When you catch someone in a lie, pay close attention to their reaction. Do they become defensive or aggressive? Do they try to turn the tables and blame you? Or do they offer a plausible explanation that seems to make sense, even if it's just another layer of deceit? A genuine person will admit their mistakes and strive to correct them, while a pathological liar will double down on their falsehoods, weaving an even more intricate web of lies. The Stoics would counsel us to remain calm and rational in the face of such behavior, recognizing it for what it is and not allowing it to provoke us. It's also important to consider the long-term impact of pathological lying. Over time, it can erode the very foundation of trust upon which any relationship is built. Once trust is broken, it's incredibly difficult to rebuild. You might find yourself constantly suspicious, always wondering if you're being lied to again. This can lead to a toxic cycle of mistrust and resentment. The Stoics believed in building strong, honest relationships based on mutual respect and understanding. When dealing with a pathological liar, you must decide whether it's worth attempting to rebuild that trust or whether it's healthier to distance yourself from their toxic influence. If you find yourself entangled with a pathological liar, it's crucial to set firm boundaries and protect your own mental and emotional well-being. The Stoics would advise us to remain true to our own values and principles, not allowing ourselves to be dragged down by the deceit of others. Be clear about what you will and will not tolerate, and don't hesitate to walk away from a relationship or situation that is built on lies. Remember, your peace of mind and integrity are more important than maintaining a connection with someone who consistently deceives you. One of the most unmistakable signs of a deceptive individual is controlling behavior. This extends far beyond mere preferences. It's an intense desire to dominate every facet of your life, leaving little room for your own autonomy and decisions. Controlling individuals often mask their behavior as concern or care, but at its core, it's about power and domination. The Stoics, who highly valued personal freedom and self-control, would view this behavior as fundamentally opposed to living a virtuous life. Controlling behavior manifests in numerous ways. For instance, a friend might consistently insist on choosing where you go and what you do together. While seemingly harmless initially, you'll eventually realize that your preferences are systematically ignored. They might say, "I know what's best for us," or "You'll have more fun if you just listen to me." This isn't about mutual decision-making. It's about one person exerting their will over another. In relationships, controlling behavior can become even more dangerous. A partner might monitor your whereabouts, demand constant updates on your activities, and even dictate who you can and can't see. They might go through your phone, check messages, or insist on knowing all your passwords. This level of surveillance and micromanagement creates a feeling of being trapped and anxious, constantly walking on edge to avoid conflict. Epictetus in particular emphasized the importance of maintaining your inner freedom and autonomy, irrespective of external pressures. Control can also take the form of financial manipulation. A controlling partner or family member might seize control of all financial decisions, doling out money as they see fit and keeping you financially dependent. They might claim, "I handle the money because you're not good with finances," or "It's easier if I just take care of everything." This can strip you of financial independence and make it difficult to leave the relationship or assert your own choices. The Stoics believed in self-sufficiency and managing one's resources wisely, seeing financial control as a form of enslavement to be resisted.
Another common manifestation of controlling behavior is isolation. A controlling person might attempt to cut you off from friends and family, asserting that they are the only one who truly understands or cares about you. They might criticize your loved ones, saying things like, "Your friends don't really care about you," or "Your family is toxic." Over time, you might find yourself increasingly isolated, relying solely on the controlling person for support and companionship. The Stoics recognized the importance of community and supportive relationships, viewing isolation as detrimental to personal growth and well-being. Controlling individuals also frequently employ threats and intimidation to maintain their power. They might threaten to leave you, harm themselves, or even hurt you if you don't comply with their demands. This creates an environment of fear and anxiety, making it difficult to think clearly or make decisions that are best for you. Seneca taught that we should confront our fears and not allow others to intimidate us into submission. True courage and wisdom lie in standing firm against such threats and reclaiming our own power. It's crucial to understand that controlling behavior is fundamentally about undermining your ability to make your own choices and live your own life. The Stoics would advise us to recognize these behaviors as an attack on our autonomy and a violation of our personal freedom. By staying true to our values and maintaining our inner strength, we can resist the influence of controlling individuals and reclaim our right to live freely. If you find yourself dealing with someone who exhibits controlling behavior, it's vital to set firm boundaries and assert your independence. Communicate clearly about your needs and limits, and don't hesitate to seek support from others who understand your situation. Remember, the Stoics teach that while we cannot control others, we can control our own reactions and decisions. By remaining grounded in our principles and valuing our own autonomy, we can protect ourselves from the harmful effects of controlling behavior and live more authentic, fulfilling lives. Now, how can you protect yourself from these harmful behaviors while maintaining your peace and integrity? Setting boundaries is one of the most crucial skills you can develop when dealing with difficult or toxic people. Boundaries are about defining what you will and will not accept in your relationships, and they are essential for protecting your mental, emotional, and even physical well-being. The Stoics, who emphasize the importance of personal integrity and inner peace, would view boundary setting as a fundamental practice for maintaining a virtuous and tranquil life. First and foremost, it's important to recognize that setting boundaries is not about being harsh or unkind. It's about respecting yourself and ensuring that others respect you as well. The Stoics believed in the importance of self-respect and living in harmony with our true nature. By setting clear boundaries, you're not only protecting yourself, but also fostering healthier interactions with others. When it comes to setting boundaries, clarity is key. You need to be specific about what behaviors you will not tolerate and communicate this clearly and assertively. For example, if you have a friend who frequently belittles you or puts you down, you might say, "I appreciate our friendship, but I won't tolerate being spoken to in a disrespectful manner. If this continues, I will have to distance myself." This approach is direct and leaves no room for misinterpretation. According to Stoic principles, this kind of clear communication helps maintain order and respect in relationships. Another important aspect of setting boundaries is consistency. It's not enough to state your boundaries once and expect others to adhere to them without reminders. You must consistently enforce your boundaries, even when it's uncomfortable or difficult. The Stoics, particularly Epictetus, emphasize the importance of discipline and perseverance. By consistently upholding your boundaries, you demonstrate self-respect and teach others how to treat you. If someone repeatedly crosses your boundaries, it's a clear sign that they do not respect you or your limits, and it may be necessary to reassess the relationship. It's also important to remember that setting boundaries is not a one-time event, but an ongoing process. As relationships evolve, your boundaries may need to be adjusted. For instance, in a work environment, you might need to set boundaries around your availability and workload to prevent burnout. You could say to a colleague or supervisor, "I am happy to help with this project, but I cannot take on additional tasks beyond my current responsibility." The Stoics would advise us to balance our duties and not overextend ourselves to the detriment of our well-being. One of the most challenging aspects of setting boundaries is dealing with the pushback or resistance you might encounter. People who are accustomed to getting their way, especially those with controlling or manipulative tendencies, may not react kindly to your newfound assertiveness. They might react with anger, guilt-tripping, or even attempts to undermine your confidence. The Stoics teach us to remain calm and steadfast in the face of such challenges. Marcus Aurelius wrote about the importance of maintaining our composure and not being swayed by the negative emotions of others. When you encounter resistance, stay firm and remind yourself that your boundaries are necessary for your well-being. In some cases, setting boundaries might mean making difficult decisions, such as distancing yourself from certain individuals or even ending relationships that are toxic or harmful. This can be a painful process, but it's essential for preserving your mental and emotional health. The Stoics would remind us that our primary responsibility is to our own virtue and well-being. Seneca often spoke about the importance of choosing our associations wisely, recognizing that the company we keep can significantly impact our character and happiness. By distancing yourself from those who consistently violate your boundaries, you are making a powerful statement about your self-worth and commitment to living a virtuous life. It's also helpful to seek support from others when setting boundaries. This could mean talking to trusted friends, family members, or a therapist about your experiences and getting their input and encouragement. Sharing your struggles and successes with boundary setting can provide you with valuable perspective and strengthen your resolve. The Stoics valued community and the support of like-minded individuals. Marcus Aurelius often reflected on the interconnectedness of humanity and the importance of mutual support. By leaning on your support network, you can find the strength to uphold your boundaries and maintain your well-being. In addition, practicing self-care is crucial when setting and maintaining boundaries. This includes taking time for yourself, engaging in activities that bring you joy and relaxation, and nurturing your physical and mental health. The Stoics believed in the importance of self-care as a foundation for a virtuous life. Epictetus, for example, emphasized the need to care for our own well-being so that we can be of service to others and fulfill our responsibilities effectively. By prioritizing self-care, you reinforce the message that your well-being is important and deserving of protection. Remember that setting boundaries is a form of self-respect and self-love. It's about recognizing your own value and refusing to allow others to diminish it. The Stoics teach us that our worth is not determined by external factors, but by our own actions and integrity. By setting and maintaining boundaries, you are living in accordance with these principles and fostering a life of peace, virtue, and resilience. Your peace and integrity are worth protecting, no matter who tries to undermine them. Setting boundaries is not just a defense mechanism, it's a declaration of your self-worth and commitment to living a virtuous life.